you're more likely to have disease problems from the pigeon in your front lawn than you are from a bird in the backyard. Because pets are paid attention to, and we watch our pets. It's like you don't get rabies from dogs, you get rabies from pets, right? It's the same sort of thing with disease, that we do watch our pets and we take care of our pets. And another issue is we're talking about the bird flu, the H5N1. It's not on this continent. It's in Europe. But there has been not one documented case of it in North America. So I'm kind of hesitant to use that as a rationale for banning chickens because we don't have that disease here. Salmonella, on the other hand, is here. You can find salmonella, and there are other bugs too. Other food poisoning things. Campylobacter jejuni and others are actually more common than salmonella. But again, it's a food preparation and a food management issue. It's not a pets in your backyard issue. And if you look at the statistics and lack thereof. And I've got a couple of papers which I could send to council if you want, but that are looking on the incidence of disease in eggs from the backyard or eggs from commercial places, as well as incidence of people getting infected. And they're really low. You're actually 100 times more likely to get sick from an egg you buy at the grocery store. So there's that issue of disease. And you're also not going to find cases of people that got sick from their pets. Before I moved to Lexington, which I almost considered not doing because chickens were not allowed. I seriously thought about living in the county and just sending my kids to school while I don't pay tuition. It seemed worth a couple $1,000s a year. But I have chickens. I didn't worry about my kids around them. And I know a lot about what salmonella can do. I know a lot about where it comes from. And I also knew that, in general, country kids are healthier than city kids. And it's not because that there's fresh air and stuff, but exposure to organisms is also important for you. So anyway, it's a long, rambling, roundabout way of getting to the fact that there simply is not a disease issue with chickens any more than you would find it with dogs or cats or my little kids. Do you know how many times they get, that's how I got this. Those little kids get me sick all the time, but we're not going to ban them. I wouldn't if you told me I couldn't have my kids. But it's not really an issue. It's a non-issue.
Thank you.
And there's one other thing, if I may. I've been communicating back and forth with Linda about the real estate values issue. And so one of the things I thought I would do is just go and look at different cities that do and don't allow chickens. And I made a list of them if you wanted to see it. But I had a real hard time finding chickens, or cities that don't allow chickens in Virginia. I looked at the laws of 62 cities that had their cities and towns that had their laws up online that I could get to. Only 8 of them, including Lexington, don't allow chickens. The other 54 do, to one extent or another. And now many of them have rules about setbacks and keeping, and most of them, no chickens at large running after your neighbor's children is not allowed. So chose to be safe. But if you just look at this, these are cities and towns in Lexington. I mean, cities and towns in Virginia, and Lexington is an oddity. We're an outlier in saying you can't have chickens as pets. That I thought was telling. And it was such that I couldn't do a property value type comparison. And of course, the reasons that you mentioned earlier were very valid. You can't look in recent times, and you've got to control for this and control for that. And so I couldn't find a comparable city set to compare.
Thank you.
I don't know if you're interested in this list or not. I brought some copies of it for council, including the sources as to where I got that information.
Great.